So, thinking of buying a DELL XPS 8940? Always worth looking at the service manual to see what you're actually getting for your money. This is a £1,500 computer, so it's worth looking at the service manual to see what the makeup of the parts inside are. So here's a list of all the parts, description of what they are. I'm not going to explain them, but I'll draw your attention to a couple of things. It's right at the top here. This item here, this item, and this item. So this is a voltage regulator that is clearly stating that it comes as part of your PC. There's the heat sink that goes over the CPU, and I've got to be honest, that looks a good size. It has a fan in the middle, sandwiched between the two heat sinks. That looks pretty damn good. And this item here is a bracket which holds your graphics card, so that it's not just holding on the slot. I mean, this is really good spec, you know. For a pre-built, I think that's pretty damn good that all these items supplied. So further down the manual, on page 36, there's another bit that shows you how to install and uninstall the graphics card holding bracket. And a bit further down we have a bit about how to fit the heatsink for the CPU. It's yeah, it's all looking pretty good. We keep going down. There's the bit about the installing the voltage regulator heatsink. Now, in fairness to them, they do actually state that, I'll just find that bit. They do actually state that it's like an optional extra, I think. Let me just find that driver's download thing. Right, it does actually say, sorry, it's not quite true. It actually does say in there that the voltage regulator heatsink is shipped as a separate unit, and it does not ship alongside the system board. A voltage regulator is required for computers that are shipped with the following processors, and this is anything from the 10th generation Intel Core 5 up to the 10th generation Intel Core 9. So that's i5, i7, and i9, and that is both with the K and the F series. And the difference between the K and the F series, from what I gather, is one is a locked processor and one is an unlocked processor. So that's interesting. The computer should have that in there. So that would tell me that it's a voltage regulator and it's like a heatsink. Now, I'm not too clued up on all this. I'm sure some computer experts out there would be. But here's the picture they show, and it clearly looks like it's like a heatsink which screws onto the motherboard. Okay, and here is my DELL XPS 8940. And as you can see, hopefully you can see that, it's an i7. Now let's take a look inside at all these wonderful parts. Okay, so, oh, hang on a minute. Where's that beautiful heatsink that we see in the pictures of the manual? That's a stock. That is just a stock heatsink. So hang on, I've paid all my money and I've got a pathetic heatsink. Oh, that's not very good. Oh, hang on a minute. Where's this bracket that's meant to hold the graphics card in? That's not there either. Hang on a minute. What's this? Where's the heatsink? Yep, that's where the heatsink should go. It screws to there, and another screw up over here, and that's not there. Yet in the manual, their own manual, it says for i7, i5, i7 and i9, it must have it. Dell, you are scamming people. You've ripped me off. Now, one other thing to notice, 2 sticks of memory. Yep, not 2 sticks of 8, which came with the computer. I upgraded to 4 sticks of memory that are all 16 gig. So that's 64 gig of memory. Here's the unfortunate bit. All brought from Dell at an extraordinary high price. There's my other 2 sticks. The computer refuses to work with 4 sticks. Yep. If you're thinking of buying a Dell XPS 8940, don't waste your money. You're just getting ripped off. Just so you can read it all for yourself. And it says the voltage regulator heatsink is shipped as a separate unit and it does not ship alongside with the system board. A voltage regulator is required for computers that are shipped with the following processors. Yep, I think I've picked up with a major fault with the Dell, because their own word says it should have it and it ain't. Penny pinching Dell. I paid £1,500 plus a further £600 for memory. Yep, 2,100. What a scam. That's all it keeps doing, crashing, and then the fan. Just blitzing completely out. Nothing on my screen. This computer is absolute rubbish. One other thing that I should add is I mainly bought this for gaming and for photo processing. If you're doing normal Word documents or Excel, whatever, the computer will run fine because it doesn't get put under enough stress to cause a problem. But the minute you start doing something that will cause it stress, that it should be able to handle, bang, crashes. The other thing is, it has now had 2 motherboards put into it. And on the first motherboard, it see the RAM at the correct, I shouldn't say correct, it see 4 sticks of RAM, and it see it at its correct size, 64 gig, but was only running at 2400 megahertz instead of the 2933 megahertz that it should run at. So a new board was installed, and the new board is the one that I currently have now, and it refuses to see 4 sticks of RAM. If you put 4 or 3 sticks in, the computer won't even switch on. You get 2 amber lights and 4 white lights flashing here, which tells you that there's a problem, and it comes back RAM failure. So that's the reason why 2 sticks of RAM have had to be left out. The engineer's due today, and today he's now bringing a new motherboard. He's bringing a new heatsink. Might add just a stock heatsink, not the one that I should have. 2 new fans, a new CPU, and 4 sticks of RAM. So basically it's virtually like a new computer, but minus the case and the hard drives. I don't hold out much hope of that working, believe it or not. I just think the system's crap. But we'll wait and see, and I'll give an update on how it goes. The other thing I'd like to also add before I do go is when you contact Dell for help, they contact you via a WhatsApp. Initially I thought this was okay, but 2 months on WhatsApp without them sending out an engineer or doing anything, it took 2 months for them to send me an engineer. And as I've already said, the engineer turned up. I'm not blaming the engineer, but when the engineer turned up, he put their parts in and he registered the parts dead on arrival. The parts, the new parts, he's put in his contract his service sheet, that the parts were dead on arrival. Terrible.